Have you ever woke up in the middle of a dream and the dream was so interesting that you wanted to go back to sleep to see the end of it? If so, what was the dream? When I was younger I would always have a recurring dream where I was in my house and demons were following me around. Every time, they would be in a different form. I was so terrified of that dream, and I always wanted to figure out how it ended, but I always woke up at the scary parts. The only way I found to stop the dreams was to finish the story in my head, and once I wrote it down I never got the dreams again. It's a recurring dream, several years, on and off, that I look forward to every time it happens. I'm behind a large, secluded waterfall with a mermaid. It feels very real, but I always wake up prematurely. Afterwards, the dream never continues where we left off when I finally fall back asleep. I was just starting to jam in with the 1973 The Rolling Stones. The Mick Taylor years, the Stones at peak charisma, with a vibe of danger and sin. All the time. Most recently I was kissing someone for the first time in my dream. I've been married for over 20 years, so that rush of a first kiss is long behind me. It was nice to feel the butterflies again and I wanted to get back in that dream for more kissing. Had one like this last night. I met a guy who was a rocket scientist, my age, and we suddenly fell deeply in love. The kisses were amazing. I woke up so sad and wanted to go back to sleep and finish the dream. My classmates and me were running and I looked behind me and saw freaking Usain Bolt following us with a freaking shotgun. We ran through a field and through our school and past some characters from my favorite TV show. I remember my PE teacher opened a gate and only let one of my classmates pass through. It was the fastest classmate BTW, and I ran past him thinking that mother always hated me. I woke up when Usain Bolt catched up to us. I really wanted to find out if he was gonna kill us or something. I have a weird imagination. This is a great question, but one that I could only answer if you were to ask me within the first 30 seconds after I wake up. I was eating nuggets at local McDonald's, briefly woke up, turned off alarm and went back to finish the nugs. Iron Man dream. I was Tiny Stark exhibiting a new flying armor with powers and everything. It had magnetic boots and a lightsaber. It doubled as a flying dream too. Then my mom called me and woke me up to remind me of our brunch date and I had to be nice to her. Best dream I ever had. Tiny Stark. Quite often, actually, lately that kind of dreams have been centered around my deceased son and spending time with him, at least in my dreams. The dream was about me and my mom buying a PS4. Then my mom in the real world woke me up and I can still remember my disappointing after I realized that I didn't have a PS4. At least my mom did pancakes. They were good. I was happy. I had similar dreams too, where I got a PS4. I also had dreams where I bought myself a new PC. In my dream, I was about to eat what was known as the best sandwich ever. I woke up literally milliseconds before the bite. I tried too hard to get back to that dream. Guess I'll never know, I had a dream like this. I had to walk through a Costco to reach this auditorium in the back where a TED Talk was being held. They handed out the best ice cream in the world and when I took a bite it was tasteless. Then I woke up. I got into Hogwarts. I was a student at Hogwarts. It was amazing. Last night, I had a dream that I was part of a group of explorers that was in the midst of fighting off a group of yetis in the jungle. My dreams do not make sense. After the fight, the group and I were lounging in a hospital room and I was talking with a nurse. We were talking about life, weird things, physical exploits, and regrets. I remember the nurse saying, "Hug me." I hugged her and felt happy. Then my cat jumped on me, clawing my chest and me waking up at 7 AM. Damn it, I was happy. Dang you, cat. If your cat didn't wake you up you probably would have totally forgot about the dream. You may have continued the dream and not remembered. We forget most of our dreams, I think. I was in a dream recently where I was a YouTuber and I got cancelled because of a Google review saying, paraphrasing, 1 star, my name, told, my friend's name, to kill herself during a dark time. Now I'm cancelled in my dreams. I woke up and fell right back asleep just to say hey. How do you guys even know that's me? I didn't do it. Ask my friend. Then everyone believed me and we danced and somebody broke their head. Excuse me, what the frick was that last sentence? I once had a dream I was climbing a mountain of popcorn at what looked like the opening scene of Sound of Music. I woke up when I got to the top. Always wondered where it was headed. The popcorn's alive, with the sound of popping. I have very random dreams actually. One time, when I was in middle school, I woke up in the middle of this weird dream with race cars and libraries, and I was friends with Taylor Swift, I think, who I met in the library. I think she was pregnant. Me and some random people raced around what I think was my middle school campus. Very interesting, don't you think? So, one time, at band camp, Snoop Dogg saving me from the clutches of an evil fairy trying to trap me in her garden. Was it a weed garden? Yes, I think it was. I think I was dreaming about saying yes instead of rejecting this boy who I really liked. I had so much fun in the dream as it felt like an eternity. In the dream, I can't remember exactly what happened, and dreams are boring to listen to anyways, so I'll spare you the details. When I woke up I found myself crying. I rejected him because I didn't know if I was lesbian or hermaphrodite etc. But I regretted everything and wanted to tell him, but he's dating his ex-girlfriend now. I don't know what to do, and I don't want to split them up. The dream felt surreal too, like a lucid dream, which I think it was. Basically like every wet dream I've ever had. Yeah, same. Had one of those really vivid dreams that I won the lottery. This was like 25 years ago, and I would still rather be in that dream than awake. Just the sheer feeling of freedom and joy I imagine would be wonderful. I had just received a check for $80,000, and I woke up, started to check my bank account before realizing it was a dream. It was a crappy start to my day. A couple of days back, I had a dream in which I was aware that I was dreaming, but it was a dream within a dream. So freaking fascinating it was. It took me a little time to gain control on the actual reality. My brain circuitry felt a little twitched. Me seeing my ex in a place and her spotting me, then her forgiving me for all the stupid stuff I did, then she gave me a hug. I had the opposite happen. Was dreaming that I was at a lake and Jason Voorhees shows up and he starts towards me. Typical Friday the 13th situation. I'm running as fast as I can through the woods and I'm scared as heck. No matter how fast I go, he is doing the quick walk and still after me. Out of desperation I climb a huge tree and get to the top branches. I look down and there he is, at the base of the tree looking up at me. I'm safe. I wake up and sit up in my bed, sweating. My TV is on and I'm able to breathe, a sign of relief. What a crazy bug dream. I am glad that crap is over, I think to myself, and take a few sips of water and settling back into my pillow. I close my eyes and go back to sleep. Bam. I'm back in that freaking tree, still holding on the same branches. I look down and see Jason still looking back at me, but he must have went to his tool shed while I was temporarily unavailable because he's holding a chainsaw. I swear I looked towards myself, like I was watching a movie and was speaking to myself in the audience. I looked into my dream eyes and said, "You gotta be kidding me," in a very irritated and sarcastic tone. It's like I knew I was in a dream at that point and was peeved because I was back up in that tree. Well, Jason got to work on that tree trunk and took it down, and when I hit the ground I woke up again. What the frick, I said out loud to no one. Took a shower to get the sweat off and decided to stay up for a while. So I didn't want to go back to the dream, but the dream wasn't done with me. Honestly is one of my favorite dreams because of it all played out. Apparently Jason decided to rip off Freddy Krueger's shtick. Have you ever had a dream that you would, to, that, the, you, that, over the, if, that, you would, you could, that, if, you, that, where, when, you, so, you wanted to, in the, so, you could do anything? No, but I did have a dream where I was riding my bike and I went super fast, like 30. This has recently started to happen to me. From what I can remember, it was about me and a real life YouTube trio called I Just Went Cool. We were in my grandparents' house trying to uncover some conspiracy. After some very intense searching and odd clues that would fit the YouTube trio's comedy style, one of them turned out to be a part of the conspiracy and he also tried to mislead us or something. Then he overdramatically jumped over a very tall wall to escape, and then I woke up. I was practically forcing me to sleep because it was really getting good. I've had some other dreams, but once they get good I always wake up and miss the ending. I was expecting your dream to be of you saving Caesar from Wamu, but I guess that works too. I have had vivid dreams of drinking large quantities of milk and it scares me. I'm a novelist. Occasionally I'll dream about my characters. In those moments, I'm desperate to return to the dream and see them in real life. I was freaking hentai characters. I was hopping around in Dorito land with a friend. It was really cool and colorful and there were giant Doritos flying in the sky. That sounds awesome. I was little and I was dreaming that I was a Barbie. IDK, which one? I think from a movie. A fairy Barbie actually. I was talking with my other fairy friends and I woke up. I was so mad because of it. It wasn't interesting. Was a nightmare with Sonic Eggs and Zalgo being my neighbors and torturing me about eating old man randoms. Sonic Eggs Dreams Gang. Was in a native village of some ancient tribe forgotten by humanity. All the villagers were sad and crying. I was with them and welcome as an outsider, but they did not know me as their own. A girl was with me. We were in love. She was so sad. I have to go back now. I knew in my dream that she didn't belong here. That she had to go back or her soul would die. She would be immortal there. I said I knew and we kissed hard and sad. The villagers began to chant and the fire in their midst grew stronger and turned blue. The girl unclasped from me slowly and stepped into the flames and disappeared. I woke up in tears, determined to go back to sleep. When I did, she came back, gave up her immortality to be with me, and the villagers rejoiced. Woke up shortly after and remained in a haze for weeks. A school shooting massacre. It reoccurs every so often. My dreams are pretty fantastic, so I'm sure I'm forgetting some. But I put some that stuck out. Flying on a futuristic scooter around an island with a mountain at the center. On a very overcast day. I get the impression it was a dystopian society, but I don't remember more than the feeling of freedom. Another dystopian society. Also futuristic. I was originally a poor kid. Learned to fight. Formed a team to fight the BBEG. We lost some members on various missions. Really depressing, but I'll never forget that feeling of camaraderie, the insanely close bond we had from facing death together on the Reg. The only mission I remember was infiltrating futuristic flying ships. Think kind of like Avengers, but a fleet of them to try and take them out before they got to one of our cities. We were planting detonators. I know we lost a teammate then. I've always wondered if we won our fight. Flying over a backyard garden and greenhouse in an older English city, also overcast. I have the sense that it was cold out, but I don't actually remember feeling cold. It was very peaceful, just floating above everything. A few Doctor Who adventures thrown in. Those are always a thrill from beginning to end. I hate waking up from those. We'll come back if I think of more. I could go on for a while about how it started, but I'll just post the really cool part. Basically there was a wasteland with super giant deadly creatures that burrowed under the sand. On the edge there were giant mushrooms, bordered by mountains. Basically the idea is that you could start a society on the mushrooms, and the more stable strong that society got, the more the mushrooms would move into the wasteland and also form into a habitable kingdom. Think similar to an elven forest city, but if it started from a single hole in a tree that someone moved into and then as more people moved in, the city built grew itself, except in giant mushrooms. It was pretty flipping cool. Anyway, in my dream the society had just collapsed, so we were just starting over from the beginning when I woke up. It was a crazy purge-like scenario where there were a bunch of people in an auditorium and over time small groups would disappear. Those still in the auditorium were either in flight or fight mode against each other. Pure survival mode trying to scavenge anything useful from the deputed's possessions. Trippy crap. This is gonna be so dumb. I had a dream that I was on vacation and this girl found me and told me she was convinced she could make me fall in love with her in one day. We went off on crazy explorations all over the place, from jumping on buildings, running from cops, had lunch on top of a mountain. Then I woke up. I wanted to finish that dream, damn it. Multiple times. It's always seeing my dad that was killed 2 years ago. The worst part is that in the dream I'll come to the realization that he's dead and it can't be real, and that's when the panic sets in because I know I'm waking up. I just want to keep having the dream so I can hear his voice again. I don't remember. This actually happened to me last night. I had a dream about my friend's ex, whom he now hates. I dreamed that we were walking through a hotel lobby and man asked me to be a fill-in judge for a drumming competition. I told him I didn't know anything about drumming but he still wanted me to be a judge. So I'm sitting there judging the drummers and his ex-GF kept rubbing my arm and softly kissing my cheeks. I remember thinking when this is over I'm so getting laid. I woke up shortly afterwards. I texted my friend first thing this morning and we both found it amusing. I wish the dream would have continued. She was a hot piece of ace. There were many dreams. I'm also a lucid dreamer, so this used to happen quite often. It's been a couple of years, though, so I have to go way back in my memory. Usually, it was a dream about something happy like a secret love interest. Over the years, though, I figured out that if I dreamed about them, I would never end up with them. There were a lot of those. Sometimes, though, I was trying to go back to rescue somebody. When I could successfully go back to sleep and perform the rescue, it was rare, but I did it on occasion. If you're asking about the most memorable, though, well, that's not a dream I like to admit to just anyone. When I awoke, I found myself sitting up in bed in a cold sweat. I found myself remembering not just a dream. It felt like a memory. It felt so real. I had just dreamed that I was my opposite gender as in a past life or something like that. It felt so real that I've been asking myself WTF ever since. If there was ever one dream that I wanted to go back to, that was the one. 3 years ago I was dreaming I was in a catering hall. The hall was packed. Everyone was seated facing the dance floor. No tables. I scanned the crowd on the opposite side and I locked eyes with a girl I know very well from my past. As I see her, I can tell she recognizes me. Then it ends. I wake with her on my mind. I get to work and look her up on Facebook to tell her about it. I log on and there's a message from her already in my inbox. Hey you, how are you doing? I had a dream about you last night. I begin to freak out. I send her a message back, asking for details. She described the room, but dreamt details after my dream. Totally wild. I believe she was there, in my dream. I'm standing on a pyramid in sort of sun god robes with thousands of naked women at my feet screaming and throwing little pickles at me. Yes, this morning, I was somewhere, maybe my current house, and all of our past pets were there. 5 total. Same personalities and could speak, as is usual in a lot of dreams, but reacted as the pet would and not as a human, i.e., really hungry sits up and begs treat please or, look, fuzzy belly or, gonna tackle my brother, RAWWR play time to play chase. I'm in the midst of dealing with a very serious, life-threatening illness, if on the mend. The last several months have been very hard and the next 2 are likely to be harder still, followed by a few downtime months where things will only just suck. My workplace is problematic. I get the idea they'd happily let me go if they could but recognize the legal hellhole they'd be in if they took action to be rid of me. Some actions seem to imply hoping I'll just quit. I know they want to be perceived as the good guy and to be fair, there are a few who work hard to be so. I really wanted back into that comfortable dream, even if only for a few more minutes. Currently we can't have any animals due to some specifics of my treatment. Even visits to friends with fur children have to be carefully handled. I was 5 or so and I dreamed that all my stuffed animals turned into giant gummy worms that wanted to eat me. They chased me around the house until I was cornered in the kitchen. I was about to lunge in a fight against the demon worms by eating them when I woke up from nap time, with all my stuffed animals still in place. I saw my high school sweetheart again, hugged her so many times in that dream and told her how much I'd missed her. I woke up in the middle of a conversation and realized she'd been dead for almost 4 years. It was rough. You have been visited by the Holy Doggo. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.